usual Q&A class. Let's see here. Do we have someone who wants to start us off? Jean, do you have a couple questions for us today?
Yeah, I always have a couple of questions, don't I? When we're doing, basically, if you've got a rental customer, so if you open up their rental screen and they're picking up. So what we're doing is they're picking up their toilet, and so we're putting in the date returned, and then it goes, and we're saying, yes, we want to bill it, just like that, yeah. And we usually have 2 items at a time. And then you go up into the rental info and the billing, attach the part, go to the view pending transaction. And when we go to post it, it's saying, please verify customer, and I don't know why.
The customer you have selected, if it says please verify customer, does not exist in QuickBooks.
Is that what you're thinking? Is that? Okay.
That would be it's either that, or if it's flagged to be emailed, that customer may not have a email address in QuickBooks. That would be my guess if it says please verify customer.
We're checking right now. Customer's in there. Is it on the job? It's on the job, yeah. Did it say anything about emailing the customer? You're not emailing invoices, are you? No? Neither one of those are in the case. I'm not sure.
Okay, and in this case, it's something with the data we'd have to have one of the support guys remote in and take a look directly.
We'll do that then. Okay. Because we did 2 different customers, and both of them came back with that answer. So, okay. But we're not doing anything procedurally wrong anyway. That's good to know.
No, that's exactly the only. When it says please verify customer, my guess is there is something not quite right about either the customer or the parent that it's kicking it back.
Okay. All right. So I have at this moment. We got the other figured out. So.
No, we don't. Hold on.
Okay.
We have another one.
Oh, sorry, we got one more.
I'm update customers only.
Oh, when we're updating customers only, we're putting an error message.
And the error message is reading expression to result in the name of a macro, whatever, the name of a predefined function or event procedure. There may have been an error evaluating the function.
Can you hear her or no?
No, barely, bits and pieces. I heard error when updating QuickBooks, and that was.
Okay, so the error message that's coming up is the expression may not result in the name of a macro, the name of a user-defined function or event procedure. There may have been an error elevating the function event. So every time
did you try to close and reopen the program and try it again?
That's what I have to do every time I update a customer. Is the only way to get out of this error message is to actually close the whole program and go back in.
The only thing I could think of that would throw that error, again without our tech support being on, would be something in the control table settings, either the QuickBooks version or the sales tax rate here. Those could cause an error when updating if it's not correct. Make sure that the default sales tax rate drop down is set to USA and your QuickBooks version is on 2014.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
The one we just lost.
And again, that would be another one again for our tech guys, because I can't, during this type of training session, I can't see your screen.
Not a problem. We'll get tech afterwards. Go ahead. I'll let someone else have a turn.
Ms. Jerry, do you have a question?
Well, you know, Michael, I had signed up for this session, but I'm wondering if I need to just do what, you know, you had sent me an email about chat now. Maybe I need to just do that. We do have a couple of questions, but I don't know if you read my email, some of the things that are occurring, but maybe it is something that maybe we need to have our own session for those concerns.
If there are error messages or troubles with the program, it's hard for me to replicate in a session like this or give you the right, because I don't know exactly what's causing it. And I did send that email to you to just reach out to the chat now and get one of the guys to schedule an appointment where they can remote in, they can go through the error messages with you, whatever trouble you're having on the mobile or the desktop.
Okay.
And then make sure if they can make sure that the program's set up correctly, or if it's something that procedure that you guys are doing wrong, if you're taking one step before the other, or something like that, then they'll set up a follow-up with me where you and I then can go through start to finish, correct, step by step for desktop to in the field, then back into the desktop, into Quickbooks, how to pull up history.
Okay, that's maybe what we need to do. There was some things on our custom manifest that needs to be changed, and
yep, I saw those, and I made myself a little sticky note here, and I will be doing that this afternoon for you.
Okay. Was there anything? I've got a couple other people in here. Let me see if they had anything else. But that's what I'm thinking is maybe we need to go that chat now, Ray. Yeah, rather than asking you a bunch of questions that's really just tailored to us. So, yeah, we all agree. We just wanted to make sure that since we signed up that we showed up. So,
yeah, great. Well, always glad to have you.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to hang up now, and we're going to do the chat now. Thank you.
Perfect.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Lonnie, how are you? Is that Lonnie, Eileen, or Max? Who do we have?
Can you hear us?
Now I can. There we go.
Okay. I didn't have my microphone plugged in. Sorry.
No worries.
So we have a few questions. I didn't catch how many people you have. You can come back around to us if you want to. One of them is one of the things I ran into the other day, Eileen was off one day, and we had a question whether or not we had sent someone a quote. So I was wondering if you could kind of show me more about the quotes and what you guys recommend we do, and how can we tell if one's been sent, and we don't have a way to, is it possible maybe to make a suggestion to have a way to just email a quote from the quote itself? Or what procedure would you recommend we go through to give someone a quote, send it to them, email it, and know what we've done?
Okay, so when you're doing a estimate here, you have kind of a couple of date fields that you may be able to use. You could just keep maybe a practice of if a follow-up date is set, that means that you've emailed the quote. So you're basically putting in a date to remind yourself maybe a week out to follow up. Until that date's put in, that could be something that tells your staff that hasn't been sent yet.
Okay.
And the only way to email this would be to, if you had the full version of Microsoft Access, if I were to do a quote, so if I have a quote and I go to print it, with the full version of Access, I can actually hit email up here. You have all these extra options you can do when you print, and I can just tell it to email and send it as a PDF, and it'll pop it right into Outlook and attach it for me.
Okay. I could have sworn we talked about this before, and I got the full version of Access, but I don't see that option to email on mine.
If your computer may not have it, but I think one of your computers in your office does. If you see up here at the top how I have like Home, Create, External Data, Database Tools, and Acrobat, if you have all these extra tabs, I mean you have the full version of Access. And with that, you can do a lot more when you go to print. You can send it to Excel or send it to a text file or save it to a PDF.
Okay.
Now, when putting in I believe it's a date awarded, so if I say that the customer approved this quote today, it's going to pop up and ask me, do I want to update the customer notes? So it automatically puts the notes in the customer's history that they approved the quote. So that's one way you'd know that that quote was handled. You could look at the customer's history. And then it asks you automatically, do you want to create a follow-up task for the salesperson? And it automatically creates the task behind the scenes. I have a task here to follow up.
Could you show me that one more time, Michael?
Yeah. On your quote, it's all controlled by the date awarded. Basically, when the customer says, okay, go ahead and do the work, you put in the date that they said that, and it prompts you, do you want to update customer notes with the date awarded or quote awarded? So basically, it puts an entry in that notes tab in customer detail, lets them know that they approved the quote, and then it asks you, do you want to create a follow-up task?
Okay.
It's a quick way to get a history record right in the notes.
Okay.
But that's not showing that it was sent or...
Yeah.
Doesn't show it was emailed or anything, but it would show that they approved it on that date. And the only other thing I could maybe mention is, you have your quote-specific notes. You could type in, simply, emailed on such and such date. Just notate that it was sent. That way, if you ever open up this quote, you have those direct notes right there at the bottom.
And those won't go on to the quote or anything. Those are like the other, like the tasks. Those are just for us?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
It goes on there. When that's where I put information in for the customer.
Did you hear that, Michael?
Okay, so it does print out the first quote. I do say it prints under notes there. You could use the field web comment for internal notes, because that will never be visible to the customer. That web comment, if you created a quote on our new mobile devices, that's where the guys can put in quote notes and stuff. That's where they would show up, but they would never print out on any of the documents from the desktop.
Okay. Okay. Another issue I ran into is we had someone, I guess this actually turned out to be a mistake, but we've had this happen before. We've had someone on service, in the service program, on a route schedule and they weren't in QuickBooks being billed. Is there any kind of reports we can run, to confirm or verify that we've got everybody entered in the memorized transactions and we're not missing anybody?
And you bill them, what, monthly?
Yes.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, there is a route info and a memorized transaction comparison. So what this is going to do is, I believe you would put in the date after the date you ran the last billing, and QuickBooks must be open, and it compares, I think, memorized transactions to the route schedule. It has an option for customer type. I think this actually compares memorized transactions from QuickBooks against stops on the route schedule, not necessarily our memorized transaction list.
Yeah, because we quit using the QuickBooks memorized transactions. We're just using yours now.
Let's see. I'll ask Bill, see if he could put a report in here that would just do, I mean, it wouldn't be a terribly hard report, something we could just maybe export right to Excel to get a difference between, you know, what's on the memorized transaction versus what's on the route.
Yeah, okay.
What do you update more? Obviously, do you keep the route schedule is usually the most up-to-date as far as the customer service. It's memorized transactions that forget to be entered sometimes.
Yeah, that seems to be the problem. I mean, yeah, we don't seem to forget to get somebody on the route schedule, but we had it happen. This last time it was actually an error on their part. They weren't getting our emails, but it did make me think about it. The time before, though, it was they weren't in the memorized transaction, so they weren't getting billed.
Okay. I'll see if we can put a report in. That's not a bad idea.
We have a couple of people who have more than one pool, and they seem to be having difficult time figuring out our billing for some reason. And we never used this parent customer thing where we could just put in their name and then put in their individual pools underneath it. It seems to me I used that once. We had troubles. We still have to know. I guess the biggest issue with these customers, they want to write one check. So even if they write one check, I still need to know which account to apply that to, don't I?
You can split a payment in QuickBooks and do partial payments against multiple invoices.
Yeah, but I'm still going to end up with a mess, though. If they don't tell me how much to apply to each individual pool, even if they just write one check and I apply it to one account, I'm still going to not know what went where. It's still going to end up to be a mess, isn't it?
Now you're currently not using the job sites, correct?
Yeah, I think
Jobs
yeah.
in QuickBooks.
I'm not sure, whatever you call it. Yeah, it's when we put in like a customer's name. I thought it was like a parent customer or something, and then you have different
Locations
underneath. Right. No, we're not using that.
Okay. If you were, you would basically, they would not be able to write one check because each property or each body of water or location would be a separate invoice that our software would produce.
Okay. So that's what they want. We actually have two customers, and this one of them just can't seem to figure out his bill and never sends me the correct amount, and then it's just a nightmare trying to get it straightened out with him. If he has, and it's actually two separate locations, but he wants to write one check, anything you can think of that would be easier for us, or, you know, can we put that on one account somehow, or what would you suggest?
You would just have to, I mean, that would be one you'd have to have our software bill, and then you'd have to like correct it in QuickBooks and just give them one invoice with the full amount on it.
Okay. Because I was trying to think of, you know, the way your tasks, you know, if we have more, not tasks, but our route stops, you know, if we have more than one route stop, you know, your software puts that all together into one invoice for me. Is there any way I could try to do that somehow for his two different pools so it put it on one invoice on one customer in QuickBooks?
You would not. You'd have to have that same customer on the route schedule. You couldn't have you wouldn't.
Right.
There's no way to differentiate which one you're supposed to service when at that point. So I don't think it. I think it'd do more harm than good.
Right.
It may be one just easier to manage billing just alone in QuickBooks for the month just for that customer.
Right. Okay.
And is the time spent creating one invoice a month for that guy less than the time it takes to correct his mistake of underpaying or overpaying after the service program does billing? That's just what you got to look at.
Right. Okay. Again, I think I brought this up with you before. It's just on my mind because I actually dealt with it today. We're still having people that aren't happy with the emails that are sent after the service when the guy's out in the field email them. And I'm trying to figure out a simple way, or once we start getting more people wanting this, it's going to start to become complicated for us as far as being able to turn that on and off. We have people that don't want it, and then we do have people that that do want it. You know, if there's going to be, is there possible to put something in in the service program somewhere where we can select that for individual customers so that they get it?
An on or off switch.
Yeah, do you understand what I mean? Right now, I think, we don't have any way but to tell the guys, just send it to everybody. And then when someone complains, we're having to write notes to them. No, don't send an email to this person when you're done cleaning their pool.
I can ask Bill. I don't foresee us being able to do that because it is at, the emailing is at your discretion, and I mean you could put route notes in not to email them, and that's the best we have right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Now there could be, the only thing that I could see us doing would be a security level setting for that would, I mean, it wouldn't help, I think, per customer, but it would, possibly be able to stop a tech from emailing, period, from the mobile device. But
yeah.
I don't think us doing it on like a customer level.
Right. Yeah, that wouldn't help us. It's on an individual basis, I guess, that we're going to have to use route notes and then hope the guys pay attention to them, actually.
With that customer pop-up thing that you do, would that work?
It works on the desktop. It doesn't work on the mobile devices.
So another issue I had, Michael, I was wondering if you had some advice for, is when I email from the service program, it uses Microsoft Outlook. And I've had a couple instances where either I don't usually shut my computer off. I just have a habit of leaving it on. But sometimes we have power issues and it's turned itself off when I come in the morning, and I forget to turn Outlook or open Outlook back up. And yesterday I discovered an email I sent to someone like 2 weeks ago that never got sent because I didn't open Outlook. Is there a way to have that automatically open when I turn my computer on? Or
the way Outlook sends is if you tell an email to be sent, it pops up the Outlook message. You can press send, but Outlook doesn't send until you open it. And that's just Microsoft Outlook. There's nothing I can do to. It happens to me too when I email out go to training reminders or for private training. It pops open an Outlook window, and if I don't physically have Outlook open right now, it doesn't send it until I open it. And
right.
it's just
There's
how
no way that
Outlook works. I think there is a folder called Startup in your Start menu.
That's what I was wondering. I thought I'd heard about that before.
You right-click on the folder called Startup in your Start menu and go to Open. You should be able to drag your Outlook into that folder, and it should be auto. I haven't done this in years, but it should be auto-started when your computer turns on.
Okay, so I hit Start, and then I should look for a Startup.
Yes, if you see, hold on. All right, so if I go to Start, and then I go to Startup,
okay.
and I right-click and go to Open, I should then be able to take my Microsoft Outlook icon and just drag it in there to create a shortcut.
Okay.
And that should, I think all the programs in that Startup folder get executed or try to get opened when Windows starts.
Okay. And then when I email someone, I think when Eileen does it on her computer and they reply, it comes to her email. When I do it on my computer, it comes back to our general email, not my email. Do I have something set up wrong on my computer? Can I change that?
You'd have to have someone, whoever set up your Outlook account.
Oh, okay.
It's a default reply to email.
Okay, I can do that. I was thinking it was in the service program.
No, if it's sending through Outlook, it's using each computer's Outlook's preferences of whatever account's set up on there.
Okay. I think that was all I had at the moment.
have a question about
Jean,
routes. Yeah.
go
I have a
ahead.
question about routes. I have sent you guys a question because I was concerned about what's printing on the invoice and what's not, and I've gone through everything, and I made where those miscellaneous. I used the Route 3 with the rental on my route sheet, and there's like 2 miscellaneous spots, and that is where I put phone numbers, and obviously there's a spot there for the gate code, and then any others that I want the customer to read in the location. But I'm noticing that when I print that one out, the contact phone number that's coming up is just the company number. I'm not actually getting the phone number and the name of the person, so I'm having to put that in that where you got mobile number and account number. I'm putting it in there. But I would
now the contact
that phone number would be the contact number, but I don't know how that's working.
let me print this for.
Hold on. Holy cow.
So if I look here, the phone and alt phone are filled out.
So where's alternate phone? Maybe I'm putting the phone number in the wrong spot, because if you go to the rental info, or when you
Right
set
here,
up
if you go into customer detail, you have phone and alt phone.
Oh, so let's put it there. That's where it's coming. Because if you go
Phone
into
and
that
alt phone come to QuickBooks.
Okay. Pardon?
I said the phone and alt phone are QuickBooks fields.
Oh, they come off of QuickBooks?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to put the phone number in there for it to come across? Okay. All
Correct.
right.
Those fields are pulling from the QuickBooks fields called phone and alt phone.
Okay.
There's a separate field in the rental called, I think, site phone and site contact.
Right. That's where I've been putting it.
Those are just specific to the rental transaction itself, and I think they print out on a couple of the rental forms, like a delivery ticket, pickup ticket, but they do not show up on the route sheet.
What about the names? Okay, if I put that phone in there, it still doesn't tell me the name of the person I'm calling. So
No, the name of the person, contact and alt contact come again from QuickBooks.
Is that on that rental, the route sheet, though? Which one is on the route sheet?
I believe it's contact, not alt contact.
Regular contact, okay. So I want alt phone and I want contact, and I need to put them into QuickBooks. Okay, that helps. I'm trying to get as much information on those route sheets as I can.
And maybe call Larry and see if he wants to hit him up and
See.
you know, cancel check or whatever. Make a deal. And then let us know.
How soon are we going to have it fixed so that we can bring our information back down from service program back down to QuickBooks? Or is that?
What do you mean?
Well, right now we have to go to QuickBooks and move it over to the service program. If we try to go backwards, it errors out on us. It just gives us all kinds of trouble. And Joe's been telling me that you guys are working on that, but we haven't heard anything yet. So
I would check with you. I'm out of the loop on that. I don't know what's being done on the tech side, if they're looking at an issue for you or not.
oh, okay.
If you'd like, you can email our customer support at Western Software and just put in the subject, attention Joe, and maybe check in and see how that's coming along.
Hi, honey.
I just talked to him yesterday, and he said that they were still working on it, so I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Okay, that answers where that phone number isn't coming across. That's a good thing. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Do you have any questions?
No. Okay. I just want to be able to get you to pick up.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. The only other thing is the fact that those pickups are not working for us, but I guess we have to go put on there. We've got a bunch we got to get in. Okay.
All right. Well, Lonnie and Gene, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next week, I'm sure.
Thanks,
All right,
Michael.
sounds great.
Take
Happy
care.
Valentine's. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Same to you. Bye.